Hey there you guys, I'm Nick, this is TurnipHead Art, and you've read the title. We're making an OC today. Ultimately, we're going to build a whole world. We're going to create the basis of writing a comic. So this is going to be our protagonist of the story. He's going to be a main character, and then I'm going to build a world around him because that's the way I work. Now, there's 100 different ways to go about this. You can start your comic, you can write down what your world's about, the physics, the fantasy features of it, and then build a character that fits in those restraints. Or, my method, you can create a character that you love. Give him some unique abilities, maybe some unique features, visually interesting features, and then build the world around that. And if that's what you do, then you're going to fit right in here, because that's exactly how I do it. But first things first, we got a character. He's going to be humanoid. So we're going to draw a head, and we're going to build from there. Let's get to it. Alright, so like he said, we're going to draw a head, and that's where we're going to start from. We're going to move into some features. On the head, these are going to be some horns. I decided to kind of make a character that's got some D&D roots. So this is a Sahagwan. It's a fish man, but he's also part tiefling. So he has those horns just like a tiefling, but he's very fishy in appearance with the almost flipper-like ear shapes. And I just build on the features from here. So he's kind of a tough guy, I think. So he's gonna have these sharp features, this very masculine jaw, kind of aggressive, not very approachable looking. But that'll soften up as the story goes, because as I'm drawing this, I'm developing some story ideas. So he's a hard, tough guy character, and he's gonna have some situations that soften him up a bit. And that's kind of where I'm going with it. Now, whenever you're building an OC, the biggest thing you need to look out for is not making them OP. If you overpower them, you start building this world with restrictions so that the other players in this world, the other characters, the other, I don't know, the other antagonist, the other characters around them, they begin to pale in comparison. So you run them in the ground compared to your character. So you got to kind of restrict things here. And the great thing about these fishmen is there's no chance of that happening, because they can only remain out of water for 4 hours. Now, I'm going to stretch that. My guy is half Sahagwan, swaggerty sausage, and he is gonna get 12 hours, I think. So he can survive out of water for a long period of time, but 12 hours, you start going inland, it could be difficult to find water. That's gonna be his crutch. That's gonna be his Achilles heel, I guess. So we're going to build up this fishy character. And he's kind of got some psychic powers. So I'm giving him this eye on his forehead to kind of show that without going overboard. You know, it's more of a surface thing, it isn't a functional visual eye. But he's got some psionic abilities. But they're not very strong because, of course, he's only half tiefling. And as far as I know, in the D&D world, Swagan don't have psionic abilities. So they are dramatically less than they could be if it was a player character. I know I'm leaning heavily on the D&D thing, but I've been playing a lot of D&D recently. Been watching a lot of Black Magic Craft, making those awesome player homes and painting and doing some awesome gaming advice and stuff like that. So, I mean, my head's in that space. But nevertheless, it's still a character creation. And I'm definitely in that fantasy world right now. So, these pauldrons are kind of shell-ish, you know? Because, you know, he's obviously got heritage from underwater. So maybe some parental gift of some kind was this armor that was created by some half-elf or some aquatic elf, and it matches their aesthetic. But he's got some pretty cool little design features on his armor. It's obviously like plate armor with a very high collar. I'm guessing he's very slender and tall, so that neck really goes down. It's got a long way down inside that armor. And as I'm sketching him out here, I mean, I'm kind of laying down more lines in areas that I know I'm going to color darker colors. I'm overlapping lines to give myself plenty of leeway for the line art phase. And even before I do line art, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to move things around a bit. I'm going to do some transforming, and I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. I'm going to shrink this bust that I'm creating down, and obviously I'm going to give him a torso and some legs and arms and things. But here I'm just trying to build out the character's features so I know what he looks like. And this is what I do anytime I create a character. I'll do them from the front. I'll use the symmetry tool to get down a very good idea of what they look like. And then on my next iteration, I usually put them at a 3/4 view and give them some expression, aside from in this situation where he's just grumpy. You know, he's trying to be a tough guy, but maybe in the next one I'm going to give him, in the 3/4 view, after I give him a full body and after I ink this one, the next iteration he'll probably have some expression like shock or maybe even fear, because he's not as much of a tough guy as he thinks he is. So here I'm just adding some flourishes. It's a kind of a hooked tentacle kind of a design. It's like an octopus thing, and he can only summon, I'm assuming he can only summon these in water, and I might even restrict it all the way down to salt water so that he has to jump through some hoops to be able to use this ability. But these are ethereal tentacles that'll come out of just come out of nowhere magically. I'll work out the intricacies of how that functions once I start putting the storyline together. But I just think that this character's coming together really well. He's got kind of a tough guy look, but, you know, I mean, we can soften that up as we go through the story. And maybe even in some of the later sketch iterations of the character, I'll start to feel him out more, really get to know who he is. And if you've got any cool ideas for a name for this guy, I mean, I haven't looked through any books in D&D about what these Sahagwans name themselves. Like, there's no, that I know of, there's no list of names for these creatures. They're just all called by their creature name. So if you've got anything, any kind of a cool name you could think of for this guy, kind of drop it in the comments, because I'm definitely interested in at least giving him a single comic, you know, 12, 14, 16 pages, maybe more, maybe a few illustrations for cover or whatever. But that's all I've got today. I created a character. So yeah, we did it. We created a character, some basic sketching laid out, and we're going to get into more of it in my next video next weekend. I know I kind of ended abruptly there. My phone died while I was recording the audio, so here's a little more. Like, comment, subscribe if you would. If you're interested in seeing more of this, it would really help me out. And I'll link the tablet that I used to draw. I'll link it below. And I mean, I think last I checked, there was a sale going on with it. So I mean, take advantage of that. It is an affiliate link, so if you make a purchase, then I make a little bit, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So it's really just you helping me out, which I really appreciate. And that's it. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. You guys take care, and always remember, you're awesome.